الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه وأزواجه أجمعين أما بعد. We spoke before about Radwan Aydemir. Two videos before this one we spoke about Ya'juj and Ma'juj, Gog and Magog, and Yasir Qadhi throwing doubts again about the Quran, and Hassan Radwan using what Yasir Qadhi said to say that it's a myth because this man, he thinks he was a Muslim before. I doubt it. I have never met somebody who left Islam who actually was in Islam, and if he was in Islam, who had substantial knowledge about Islam. Anyway, so we have three people who have one thing in common. Let me explain. Yasir Qadhi says that the doubts, meaning about Islam, the shubuhat, I was exposed to at Yale. Some of them I still don't have answers for. Later he said, no, I have answers. No, you don't. Because Yasir Qadhi says it's very clear that the standard narrative on the subject, the documentation of the Quran, has holes in it. We bring the oldest copies we have from the Quran, and the University of Birmingham in the UK, the Brits, said they have found fragments of the oldest copy in the Quran, and they date it back to the time of Abu Bakr, Umar, maybe Uthman, and it's exactly the same as the copies we have. It's not full, but we have very old copies of the Quran, exactly the same like the ones we have. Some of them minus the tashkil, because Yasir Qadhi has a big problem with tashkil. He thinks tashkil came with the Quran. No, they didn't. You see, the oldest copies don't have fatha, dhamma, kasra. That's another topic, but it tells you how these people don't have deep knowledge about Islam. So the standard narrative on the subject has holes in it. He says, how can we then understand the Quran as being kalamullah, the speech of Allah, when clearly there are human aspects to it, meaning humans interfered in the Quran? Any example, Yasir Qadhi? One example. One ayah that was changed, distorted, corrupted, one ayah that was lost, one ayah that was added. Even the Shia who don't believe in the Quran have the same copy of the Quran we have. I know you've been sucking up to the Shia for some time, Mr. Yasir Qadhi. No. Dr. Yasir Qadhi studied Medina, bachelor's degree, master's degree, studied Islam at Yale with the Kuffar and came up with this garbage. Now, it's clear that you've been sucking up to the Shia, because also you say that invoking the saints, invoking dead people, is an evil innovation, a bid'ah. It is not shirk. Really? It's not polytheism to invoke dead people whose biggest physical quality that we can notice, they're dead. They're dead. Invoke Allah, the ever-living Allah. Invoke dead people. According to Yasir Qadhi, number one, saying that the Quran was changed, and he says there are holes in the documentation of the Quran. I just mentioned what he said here to you. Invoking dead people is shirk, polytheism, according to Yasir Qadhi, number one. And he said that the Shia have disbelieving creeds within their religion. According to Yasir Qadhi, number one, Yasir Qadhi, number two is a kafir. But this man chose hypocrisy, like hypocrisy of before, to keep working within Islam. So he learned shubuhat. He did. We didn't. While he was studying at Yale, I doubt it. I think he had the shubuhat from before, doubts. about Islam. And then he comes, and instead of doing what the other two characters I'm going to talk about later today, inshallah, he chose to work within Islam. And he's given respect. Dr. Yasir Qadhi, at a masjid that I visited many times in Dallas, Texas, Epic, he's their resident scholar, administration of Epic. What happened to you? We already, complained about what you're doing. We explained the danger of what you're doing, and you cowardly chose to leave this man teaching these things. And Yasir Qadhi, what he does is many things, the manners of the believers, and this and that, seerah of the Prophet, the history of the Prophet, and other stuff, matters of the heart. But he throws things that, according to Yasir Qadhi, number one, it's kufr, it's shirk. It makes one a non-Muslim. You're allowing this hypocrite to spread these things within what he teaches. And he's having a good time. He's having a good time there. That's number one. Number two, Radwan Aydemir. He studied Islam. They all studied Islam, of course. They all studied Islam. He studied Islam before, then started having doubts, shubuhat. Then he left the religion. Then he says he's atheist. I have a book coming very soon, inshallah, Allah willing, about you, Radwan Aydemir, about some of the videos you made. This man uses foul mouth, rudeness, as his tool of calling people to his way. Hey, come here, Muhammad. Teams up, atheist, teams up with David Wood, fanatical evangelical, to talk about Islam and calling the Prophet a child molester, Radwan Aydemir, atheist, evangelical. But his wife has become Christian, according to Sam Shamonian, another foul-mouthed evangelical. Could be the worst, actually. So you're atheist. You are teaming up with evangelicals, attacking the religion. Your wife became Christian. I don't know how this is going to work at home. I feel bad for your parents. May Allah reward them for your patience, because this is their son, and a despicable son. He says he hasn't contacted his parents in years. So he has doubts about Islam. Among the things he mentioned, I'm going to respond to his things in the book coming soon, inshallah. Final production, you'll find it soon, inshallah. Another video, he says, there are other Kaabas, Kaaba here, Kaaba there, Kaaba. Okay. You're talking about the Kaaba at Mecca. You're not talking about the Kaaba in Shiraz or the Kaaba in Yemen. We're talking about the Kaaba in Mecca. So if you're talking about the Kaaba in Mecca, you're looking around and saying, there are Kaabas there, Kaaba there, Kaaba. Okay, let's suppose there are 100,000 Kaabas. How is this going to help you with regards to your attack on Islam, using foul mouth words and exposing yourself as someone who was never a Muslim? And even if he was a Muslim, let me make this, to add that even if he were a Muslim, if he was a Muslim before, he was extremely ignorant in Islam. Yasir Qadhi, he shows that he doesn't have deep knowledge in the religion, even after all these things. So, Dr. Yasir Qadhi, he doesn't have deep knowledge in the religion, and he's a liar. The copies of the Quran all over the world, old, new, and in the future, are the same. There's no holes in the documentation of the Quran. The third character who's attacking the religion is Hassan Radwan. Hassan Radwan says he is agnostic. Let me get to Hassan now. Okay, Hassan. He wrote, "My journey from Islam to agnosticism long words. Agnosticism. What's agnostic? According to Britannica, agnosticism, unknowable. Strictly speaking, the doctrine that humans cannot know of the existence of anything beyond the phenomena of their experience. Do you experience you have life, Hassan, and that somebody who's dead doesn't have life? That's your experience, isn't it? I have life. Did you look here to see if there is anything there, that you can see or detect? You can't detect your soul. So, agnostic. Agnostic is not sure. Are you sure you're not sure? Because you have made a decision here by saying, but if you tell me this creator burns people forever, no. Were you to tell me the existence of the universe leads you to believe there is a creator, as compared to what? There was absolutely nothing. For no reason, there was a bang. Not any bang, a big bang. Not any a big bang, the big bang. Scientific. Then everything came, and then you have a car, as I mentioned before, parked in your driveway. Is there any car in the world, any phone, any water? Let me drink some water. That was made by nobody. Like people walk in the streets, they pass by a pile of junk, metal junk. Then on the way back, it's a Mercedes. Nobody made it. So agnostic. But if you tell me this creator burns people forever if they don't accept your religion, then that is something I cannot believe. Radwan, he has chosen atheism. Yasir Qadhi chose Hippocratism. I just made it up. Sorry. Hypocrisy. You choose agnosticism. You're not sure. Now, if you're not sure, maybe one day you'll wake up and say, well, today I am considering, maybe I'll say there is a creator for all this universe. But you decide how he should act. If you, at one point, believe that Allah created all, or God, the word that you have, the Brits. God created all this, and the camera is moving by itself, by the way. God created all this universe, of which we are a very, 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 and a trillion other very little part, and has all this power and might and ability, and you're telling him what he can and cannot do? That's not your choice. That's not your decision. This man says here, under title, God's End Game. After rolling up the universe in his right hand, destroying the vast unexplored galaxies created for no purpose. No purpose. Is this your conclusion? Because it's not in the Quran. It's not in the Sunnah. They've been there for billions of years. They have purpose. They have purposes are far bigger than we can imagine. You have trillions of galaxies. According to some estimate, I heard that there are about 200 trillion stars, and they keep discovering more because they have discovered very, very little. This universe is for no purpose. Is this your conclusion? Because it's not in the Quran. They lived billions of years, and as we notice, everything that lives in this universe, including the stars, they have a beginning, life, end of life. No purpose. What does that mean? Anyway, after placing Muhammad and the righteous in paradise to enjoy an eternity of soft couches, green brocade, delicious food, and beautiful women. After he, Most High, has cast Pharaoh, Abu Lahab, the wives of Nuh and Lut, the people of Hud, Saleh, Shu'aib, and all kuffar into the fire to burn for eternity. What then? God's end game. Let me set up Hassan. Hassan. That's not God's end game. For example, one of his creation is this universe. Billions and billions of years, according to scientists of today, and I know you live in England, Brits on top of the world in something. But anyway, this universe is expanding physically, keep expanding something, it will end up collapsing. This is physical law, isn't it? It will collapse. Allah will bring this universe into destruction and bring about another one. For billions of years, trillions of years, we don't know. But he will bring another universe instead of this one. So he doesn't have an end game, Allah. All this has a purpose. And just because you say no purpose, it's because you're stupid. You are stupid. I mean, what can I say? You're stupid. You can't defend your idea by saying something. So after this, you say it's God's end game. No, it isn't. So I called you 3 times. Hassan. It's not Allah's or God's end game. It's our end game. So we are a part of the creation. It's our end game. Just like the stars die, we know that we are going to die. We have people all around us dying. And there has to be something after this life that I am hoping for, I believe in. And that is what? The hereafter. You see, if there is no life after this life, as people like you're not sure, but what's his name? Radwan Aydemir, atheist, married to a Christian. I don't know, maybe one day you should tell him either become Christian or get out. According to you, this is very clear, there is nothing after, or maybe you're not sure, after this. So Hitler, who says I'm a Catholic, who with other Christians in Europe killed millions of Jews, 6 million, don't say 5,999,999, or France will put you in jail. But he killed 6 million. He lived like bigger than Pharaoh, and then he died. So he's not going to answer for his crimes? That's a purpose? Or is it no purpose? Or half and half? You're not sure. His victims, including so many Muslims who support somehow in their foolish statements what Hitler did to the Jews, which is not acceptable in Islam, because he attacked the Jews. He killed so many, hundreds of thousands of Muslims. So the victims, that's it. The killer and the killed. So the killer lives his life, or her life, and then they don't have to answer for their crimes. The victims have no way of getting back some of their rights because they wanted to live. And these people said, no, I don't want you to live. You're dead. No purpose. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us here and we die like everyone else. And He showed us the way of how we can gain life eternal. It's in the Old Testament, the New Testament. It's in the hearts of people. Agnosticism is a little fraction of people on this earth. Atheism is even bigger, but still most people believe. They believe. Now, the kind of faith that's different. We're not talking about here, but they believe there is a creator. Physically, we are going to go back to Him. what to anticipate? To be given a palace along with Hitler. I don't know where Hitler is now. It's Allah's decision. But, let's say on the day of judgment, there is a big hall that, hey, let's forgive each other and that's it. Let's just sit there. And Pharaoh and Abu Lahab and the wife of Pharaoh and Adam and Eve, this is the side of the believers, and the prophets and Muhammad, they're all sitting together there. No consequences. That's it? No consequences? You're not sure? It's not your decision. So it's not God's end game, it's ours. And it's ours if we believe we will get. You didn't mention a lot here, but you said a few things. To enjoy an eternity of soft couches, green brocade, delicious food, and beautiful women. I'll take them. If you don't want your share, can you make an affidavit and say that you give your share to mine? Because everybody has a share. Mr. Endgame. Everybody has a share in paradise and in hellfire. Waiting. See? If somebody dies on the faith, they go to the paradise and their place in hellfire is taken up by some disbeliever. Ya Hassan, Ya Hassan, Ya Hassan. It's taken up by disbelievers. A disbeliever. So we have a share in the hereafter, and it has to come. Otherwise, according to your foolish ideology, this creation, all of it is no purpose. The galaxies are dying, or at least the stars in them, they die, they explode. What's wrong with you? So there is something coming after that, a new universe, and then Allah will designate people who He showed them the way how to earn His pleasure to go to paradise. And the people who choose to be disbelievers, to deny Allah, and live on this and die on this, they will go to hellfire. They're not going to be sitting in a hall together. Let's, make up and forget, sorry. Hitler says to the people, sorry, I killed you. That's it. Or they don't come back at all. You're not sure. I don't know. Radwan, he's sure. There's nothing there. We're just sitting here and nothing's going to happen. In any case, we live this life. We struggle. We work hard. Like everybody else. Believers, disbelievers, agnostics, atheists, Muslims. We have to struggle physically in this life to have a life, to spend on our families, to have families, to live, to eat, to work. We struggle in this life. And it's hard. But there are two types of people. They struggle in this life hoping for the day they meet with their Creator, and therefore they worship Him in this life. This is the difference between them. Everybody is struggling. Those who are disbelievers, they struggle in this life, but they deny. They deny Allah. They deny the hereafter. But we're all sharing this life together, including we are sharing this life with people like you, Yasir Qadhi. You support gay marriage? Morally, no. Politically, yes. Shut up. Ridvan Aydemir tried to damage a copy of the Quran. They banned him. The Quran is still here. Ridvan, did you notice? The Quran is still around us and increasing. And Islam has become the largest religion on earth. Hassan, is this what? You have a extremely thin one-track mind? He can't put us in hellfire. That's not your decision. So the end game is not for God, it's for you, Hassan. Now, you might ask me, are you going to talk more about this topic? Inshallah. Inshallah. Especially talking about Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Yasir Qadhi says, people are leaving the religion because of Ya'juj and Ma'juj. I've been doing calling to Islam since 1984 in public. I started calling to Islam in Europe 1979. Then I came to America. Since 1984, publicly, I'm calling to the Quran and Sunnah and the way the Prophet's companions explain the religion. Tens of books, more than 70 so far, authored and translated. All the thanks to Allah. Thousands of articles. All of these in English, most of them explaining the religion, some of them defending the religion. My wife, a Westerner who became Muslim on her own, very educated. She has master's degree. She started her PhD. Hope she continues soon. And she's the editor of all my books. Her help is invaluable, valuable. I thank Allah for that. May Allah reward her. So we have all this effort in calling to Islam. I visited hundreds of masajid literally in America and other areas. I give lectures in universities, in colleges, masajid, Islamic center, hundreds of videos. I have never heard that someone left Islam just because of Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Ya'juj and Ma'juj, Ya'juj and Ma'juj. If Allah hid Ya'juj and Ma'juj from your miserable eye, and Yasir Qadhi, you say you're a Muslim, okay? You think he can't hide Ya'juj and Ma'juj? Human beings. Let's say this is the meaning of the ayat. We'll talk about it later. Allah couldn't hide them from your miserable eyes. Allah hid from our eyes the greatest creations of all time, such as paradise. We're waiting for paradise. We're going to go there, bi'idhnillah, 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 and enjoy all these things and a lot more. Because after a life of hardship, there we relax forever, forever, forever. And that alone is the greatest end game. We're worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this life, and we're hoping for that day. Allah created heavens and earth. Bigger than that, you have paradise. Its width is as wide as the heavens and earth. Created hellfire. We can see them or detect them. Yasir Qadhi scans. They scan the earth. They don't find Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Did they find the throne of Allah? God's throne. It's in the Old Testament, New Testament, Quran and Sunnah. The greatest creation of all time. Did they detect anything? Did they say, here is the throne, we found it finally, and here is one of the legs of the throne of God, and look, here is one angel who's carrying it. The angels, far more than people. The devils, more than people. We can't see them. And this is what I want to end with. This is Jalal Abualrub, Jalalabualrub. I'm Palestinian from the West Bank, from the city of Jenin. And we mentioned the books. I have a website, islamlife.com, islamlife.com. We're going to, inshallah, add the books I mentioned and more for free soon as PDF. We're working on that, final production, inshallah. I encourage you who are watching this video to please donate on the website. We have a 501c charity status. We are zakah eligible. Please donate. We need to continue doing more work. We're exposing people here that a lot of other people are listening to them. If nobody's listening to them, I wouldn't care. But Hassan Radwan puts the video about Ya'juj and Ma'juj by Yasir Qadhi, and said in the end that, based on what Yasir Qadhi said, people are living the religion because we are Juj and Majuj. You're a liar. I haven't seen no one do that. Well, anyway, people. And then Hassan Radwan said it's a myth, meaning a lie. It isn't a lie. But the fault is Yasir Qadhi's. Keeps throwing things like Al-Khannas, Al-Waswas. He throws doubts and then let the people he have here. And then, no example, Al-Khannas. Then he sits back and waits for the doubt to simmer here. You have doubts about Islam, we don't. Hassan, wake up, man. You're not sure? Be sure. So this is, I'm telling it to the right age. This universe lives like we live. Beginning, life, end. If there is nothing after that, then, like I said, Hitler and his victims are the same status, but Hitler enjoyed his life very, 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 very much and killed so many people. But if you one day you lean this way, there is Allah. Don't dictate to Allah what He can or cannot do, because He created all this universe, and this is what a part of what we can see, which is the smaller part of His creation. Hassan, wake up, man, wake up. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us knowledge in the religion and make us among the righteous. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alam.